Welcome to the Nifty Chicks. In this episode, we'll chat with the head of marketing at Blockhaus, Carolyn Rogers. Her focus is on Tezos, a sustainable proof of stake blockchain with a rapidly growing ecosystem of applications. Let's do this. Welcome to the Nifty Chicks. Hi, Minty Self.
Hi, Jen FT.
Welcome
How are you?
Home.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be back.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And I see all your beautiful ladies behind you.
Yes. Aren't they awesome?
Very
now that I'm home, I can order more and finish filling out the whole wall.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. It's going to look so great. I cannot
I mean, that is until we get our garages and Nitro League, and then we can have them there and we can, yeah.
I know. That's going to be such a cool concept. I can't even fathom what that's going to be like. It's going to be fun.
I know. It's so cool.
So I'm excited for this episode. It's pretty techie.
It is.
Putting my nerd hat on for this because we get pretty into the gritty details of blockchain and Web3 and smart contracts. I'm excited.
I am too. And I'm also excited that kind of what came out of this interview was that we're going to do another tutorial on how to even get started with the Tezos blockchain and purchasing NFTs there, which neither of us have done. So
we haven't. Yeah.
So that'll be exciting.
I've said this in the previous episodes. I want to expand my use of cryptocurrencies to buy NFTs. I by and large stick to Ethereum, some Wax here and there, some Solana there, here and there. But man, I would love to kind of diversify my Ethereum blockchains, and Tezos sounds like a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we should go ahead and dive in.
Yeah, let's let her in.
Okay.
All right. Welcome, Carolyn. We are so excited to have you. So tell me a little bit about kind of your background, your involvement in the NFT space. We're super excited about NFTs here, so we want to hear all about Tezos. We're excited.
Yes. So my name is Carolyn Rogers. I am head of marketing at a company called Blockhaus, which is a marketing firm born out of the Tezos ecosystem. So Tezos, the simplest way to describe it is it's a layer one proof of stake blockchain. It's been around. It was first proposed back in 2014. The main chain went live in 2018. And ever since, it's really been growing. The community around it has been growing. And it's actually really seen a burgeoning, especially in the NFT space, in the arts and collectibles space. And so, my role at Blockhaus is to continue to promote growth and adoption in the ecosystem. And I'm excited to talk to you both about it.
Awesome. We tend to want to break it down to kind of layman's terms. So a lot of what you just said, I've been in this space for over now a year, and a lot of what you just said, going to be honest, went a little bit over my head. So could you kind of break that down to really not necessarily your role in marketing, because I think we can apply that across all different genres, but really what Tezos does, what the whole blockchain experience is like?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if we back up and we think to maybe some of the earlier days of the blockchain and crypto space, when Bitcoin was first becoming popular and well known, and then when Ethereum, another blockchain technology, was emerging back around 2014. Ethereum really was trying to do something different than Bitcoin, which was for monetary transactions. And Ethereum was trying to allow people to build full applications on top of this technology, this new technology. And from both of those kind of inspired a whole slew of alternative approaches to blockchains, different experimentations with different trade-offs. And Tezos in particular, around that time when it was being envisioned and proposed, was really born out of the observation that neither Bitcoin nor Ethereum and most of these other blockchain technologies that were being proposed at the time could not upgrade themselves, could not evolve, could not improve over time. They didn't have a mechanism baked into how the software was built to enable it to get better, essentially, if the community decided it wanted to do that. So maybe some of your listeners, who've been dabbling in Bitcoin and other crypto for a while, you might have heard of the block size wars in Bitcoin. Several years ago, there was a dispute among the community of should the block sizes be large or should they be small? In the case of Ethereum, you had the infamous DAO hack several years ago, and famously Ethereum had to fork to essentially reverse that transaction. And there's a faction of the community that did not believe that was the right thing to do. So these are all examples of things that can happen when you don't have a way to collectively decide on a path forward for what is essentially a decentralized piece of software. So Tezos was kind of born out of that observation. And it is a smart contract platform. It is a blockchain platform that allows people to, you can interact with it by buying Tez and owning the cryptocurrency itself, or you can build applications on it. You can build marketplaces. You can mint NFTs. And so we're seeing a lot of people, a lot of brands, a lot of artists choose Tezos as their kind of blockchain of choice to mint NFTs for a number of reasons. One reason is because they see the potential for its longevity and the way that it can improve and upgrade, but also that it's because of it has a proof of stake design. The consensus mechanism is proof of stake. It's inherently less energy intensive than proof of work models like currently Ethereum and of course Bitcoin. We famously hear all of the energy consumption of the mining rigs, but in a proof of stake design, you're providing your collateral to the network rather than computing power. So it's much less energy intensive. So we see artists and brands choosing Tezos because it is less of an energy footprint, much more efficient, and it has that kind of built-in security and longevity.
That's awesome. So I'm looking at the Tezos website and I see you guys also do smart contracts and governance. So tell me a little bit about that, because we've talked a little bit about the smart contracts, and it's interesting to me how they work and get implemented in different projects. And I've also I've seen other projects like NFT projects specifically that people can manipulate those smart contracts and potentially do, bad things with it. So I'd love to hear more about what you guys are doing within the smart contracts.
Yeah, well, so I'll say that Tezos, one of the sort of differentiating factors about it is the way that it was designed is in a functional programming sort of way. So it chose a functional programming language called OCaml as sort of the foundation of the protocol itself. We don't have to delve too much into the technical details, but suffice to say that the choice of the design is such that it's trying from the get-go to ensure code correctness and sort of the integrity of smart contracts. So it sort of originates from that design principle. And you mentioned governance. So the way that the governance system works on Tezos, and the Tezos ecosystem actually has just concluded its 9th upgrade over the time that it's been live since 2018, which is pretty impressive for any software project. So as a community, the community has proposed and voted on using the on-chain governance mechanism, voted on proposals and implemented those technical upgrades and proposals now a total of 9 times. And it's sort of hard to overstate how exciting that is from a software development perspective, because really what that represents is kind of the Web3 way to do software development. It's like you have disparate groups of people, different teams around the world, all thinking about this technology, all working on it, and then collectively making a decision, voting on a proposal, dissecting it, participating in discussions around it, and then ultimately voting to pass a proposal or not pass a proposal. and implementing those changes to the chain. And so actually, as a result of various upgrades over time, the protocol, the blockchain itself, has become more energy efficient. It's become it's paved the way for higher transaction throughput, and it's been able to make these improvements to itself that we have not really seen in other ecosystems.
That's great, because so many people, I feel like, are focused or put their energy towards the, what Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all that is doing to the environment through the energy consumption.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a huge concern. It's a valid concern that many people have, and especially brands and artists and people who are thinking about how they can interact with this technology. And if you want to ensure that you're doing so in a way that is more energy efficient, there are some trade-offs that you may want to make, and you may want to choose a blockchain, a foundational technology that aligns with your values.
That's very cool. So if I wanted to utilize Tezos to purchase an NFT, my understanding is that the steps are to create a wallet. I can see that I can do so through your website or through Tezos.com. And I'm assuming I need to buy Tez. And then at that point, I can go to a marketplace in which you've partnered so that they are hosting your NFTs or NFTs on the Tezos blockchain. Am I correct that OpenSea is not part of?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Okay. Yeah, currently not implemented on OpenSea, but other very prominent platforms such as Object.com, Rarible, Hic-et-Nunc. One kind of favorite story from the ecosystem about the art platform Hic-et-Nunc is that it's sort of a poster child for the promise of Web3 and decentralization. It's an NFT marketplace that was I believe born out of a hackathon by a single developer that wanted to create this marketplace, and it really gained a lot of community traction and adoption among artists who loved the platform and were having so much discourse around it, and minting incredible things on it. And then one day the primary developer decided not to continue with the website. And there was suddenly this panic of, oh my gosh, there's no website anymore. But it's not that everything was gone. It was all still hosted. It was all still available because of the blockchain, because of decentralization. It was not centralized. Actually, it wasn't removed from the blockchain. It was not on Hic-et-Nunc separately. So the various community groups were able to get together and basically resuscitate Hic-et-Nunc on a different website and get everything back up and running. All the art was still there. It's still working, and so that's just kind of a fun anecdote of what decentralization can really mean in this space.
Right. So I was going to share my screen here.
And that's so interesting you talk about that decentralization, because in my mind, when I first heard about decentralization and that this was, the whole focus of NFTs and cryptocurrencies, my immediate thought was, oh no, now there's not one company to hold accountable, if something goes wrong. That was my immediate fear. How could this be better for the world? And of course, now I've educated myself and I understand, and stories like that are exactly one of the benefits of decentralization, of the whole community as a whole can kind of recreate. So it's not necessarily one company and a CEO to hold accountable. It's the whole community and those engaging in the blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the promise of decentralization, it's easy to get caught up in it. And certainly there are cases when you want centralization, and there's a reason that it's, the primary way to organize people and resources, and has been that way for a long time. It's very efficient for a lot of things. But when it comes to individual control, user control and questions around freedom, and kind of power to the people and ability for communities to organize amongst themselves. There are numerous benefits to decentralization. So it's not the cure for everything, but it's very promising in certain circumstances.
So I wanted to pull up your website here. So this is where you would go to look for projects. Are there any in here that are your favorites that people should be?
Let's see. Well, you scrolled just past Dogami, which is a fun kind of new game that has emerged. The Petaverse. You can have your pet in like an NFT pet in the metaverse. I have not played this game yet, but it's game.
Oh, that looks fun. Jenna and I are both dog lovers, so
yeah, that's right.
Me too. Me too. Trust me. Yeah, I minted my dog as an NFT on a platform. I don't think anybody's bought her yet. But
so that is so funny that you say that, because that was actually pretty much my I think it was the first thing that I ever minted. It was actually my dog. I just adopted him almost 2 years ago. And the first thing that I minted was a picture of him from his first birthday. And yeah, nobody has bought him.
But he lives in perpetuity on the blockchain.
Yes. I've given a few away, of course.
Yeah.
So which other ones stand out on here for you?
Let's see. Gap is an example of a brand that dropped an NFT collection on the Tezos blockchain.
Like Gap clothing.
Yes, exactly. It was a set of collectibles of like different cool like hoodies of different tiers. And certain ones of them would give you access to like actual collectible hoodie, like real life IRL hoodies. So that was a great partnership there.
Yeah.
Interpop is one of the ones on there. Interpop is a really interesting group of people who are comic fanatics who have essentially created this comic shop on the blockchain. And these are people who have worked for DC, Marvel, have worked on Batman, and have now created multiple series of comic books, like fresh new stories that are minted as NFTs on the Tezos blockchain. And one of the cool aspects of that is in some of their stories, they're sequential and they're released over a period of time. And if you own a comic, one of the comics as an NFT, you get to vote, you get a say in what might happen in the next installation. So, what should this character do, or which character maybe should die, or what big plot point might happen next. So it's a little bit of like choose your own adventure, and just a feeling of community and ownership over the story.
That's fun.
Yeah. I love it. Well, what other things do we need to know about Tezos and Blockhaus?
I think there's several things that we've talked about already. The fact that Tezos is an energy efficient blockchain, that it has the ability to upgrade itself. So our community, our ecosystem believes it's going to be around for a long time for that reason, because it has this built-in mechanism to keep getting better. We kind of like to joke that it's like the Megatron of blockchains. It can absorb the best research and ideas that are constantly emerging in this space, and incorporate it as the community sees fit. So that's really exciting. As you've seen, there's brands that are choosing Tezos to mint NFT collections, even ones that we at Blockhaus and our people within our community have not necessarily like had any contact with. They just choose it because it aligns with their values. Guerlain, the French beauty brand, the perfume house, recently announced an NFT collection of crypto bees, which has the nice. It's actually going to help rewild a portion of France, and revive the ecosystem of so many acres of land. So there's ways that you can interact, new ways that you can interact with brands that you care about, and causes you can support via NFTs, which is very exciting. So I think we're going to continue to see more of that kind of activity. Of course, in the technology itself, because of the upgrade mechanism, we're going to see more technological improvements, higher throughputs, higher transaction speeds, and just hopefully continuation of the trajectory we've seen in the last year, which is a lot more contract calls on the main nets, more projects cropping up, and just more progress in the community overall.
Do you have anything that you can share with us that has been announced or about to be announced that is coming soon?
Well, I can't spill any too many beans.
Right.
But I will say that there are going to be new ways to participate in the Tezos ecosystem from like a decentralized finance perspective. I think we're going to see an increase in decentralized finance opportunities around Tezos in general. Mm-hmm. And we've had a lot of exciting partnerships in the past year with major brands and sports teams like Manchester United, racing teams, McLaren Racing, Red Bull Racing. And I think what we're going to continue to see there is just an expansion of how they engage with their fan bases, mm-hmm. using Web3, using NFTs, using this new technology. So I'm very excited for what's to come.
Yeah,
that's
very
awesome.
Cool.
Well, we'll be watching.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to go take a closer look because it's funny because I've heard about you. I remember hearing about Tezos like years ago and then never really pursued or, I guess looked into it. And now I'm interested to go take a closer look and see what projects you have out there and dive into it. That's
awesome. That's what we love to hear. Yeah, it's definitely grown in adoption and awareness even over the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. It was quietly sort of building and growing since 2018, but it's really taken off more recently. And in fact, these days it's consistently the second most talked about blockchain for NFTs behind Ethereum. So we love to see that momentum, and
know that.
I definitely encourage people.
Maybe what we'll have to do, Gen FT, is we'll do a tutorial about getting started, and then we could have you back on the show to help us walk through everything and make sure we're not missing anything.
Would love to do that. Yeah, okay. That sounds great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Carolyn, for being on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you both for having me.
Yeah. So was that nerdy enough for you, Gen FT?
I'm totally geeking out right now. It's so cool. She's obviously so brilliant. And it's such a different kind of level that I'm used to engaging because I'm so new to this space and a lot of this stuff does go over my head.
It was definitely very techy. But I still think I'm excited about diving in to the Tezos system and learning more about it and, setting up the wallet and seeing how hard or easy it is to purchase NFTs on that chain.
I think the first thing I'm doing is I'm getting that dog in the metaverse. And
definitely. There's no doubt about it.
She immediately, I don't know if she just knows us that well or could just vibe off of our energy, our dog mom energy. But I was immediately yes, that is exactly what I know.
I was so happy that's where she went first.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed that chat with Carolyn as well. And as always, be sure to follow us on all the socials. You can find us at the Nifty Chicks, at the NIFTY Chicks, CHICKS. And be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you are notified whenever we have a new episode available. And also, I wanted to add in there to be sure to go leave us a review on wherever it is that you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, that's right. And we also want to hear feedback. Don't be afraid to give us both
Definitely.
positive, but also negative feedback. If you want to hear more of something or less of something, just let us know. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the Nifty Chicks. Always remember, invest in yourself. You are worth it. Please listen carefully to the following disclaimer. Neither the host nor the guests of the Nifty Chicks podcast are acting in the capacity of financial advisors. We wish to remain transparent and impartial to the NFT community at all times, and therefore, the content provided by the Nifty Chicks hosts and guests are intended for general information purposes only. Nothing written or discussed by the Nifty Chicks hosts and guests should be construed or relied upon as investment, financial, legal, regulatory, accounting, tax, or similar advice. Nothing should be interpreted as a solicitation to invest in any cryptocurrency or NFT, and nothing herein should be construed as a recommendation to engage in any investment strategy or transaction. Please be advised that it is in your own best interest to consult with investment, legal, tax, or similar professionals regarding any specific situation and any prospective transaction decisions. You must do your own research when considering investing in cryptocurrencies or NFTs. We are simply sharing our journey with you as we learn more about the world of NFTs. Happy minting.